The original cartoon came out in 1937, and very evidently so. There's a big focus on her love story with a guy who literally stalks her. Weird.
Only this time, it wasn't just me. They were taking all my favorite people and replacing them with diverse women complaining about the patriarchy. Will you check under the bed and make sure there's no Disney executives under there?
Today, we're diving into the latest South Park episode that has everyone talking. Trust me, this is one you don't want to miss. The episode, titled Into the Panderverse, is a brilliant satire aimed directly at Disney, and let's just say, they're not holding back. So grab your popcorn because we're about to break it all down. Imagine this. You're walking through the halls of your old school. Everything seems normal until you notice something is seriously off. Every familiar face, every person you once knew, has been replaced. It's like stepping into a Twilight Zone episode where nothing is as it seems. The new characters all appear to be there just to check a diversity box. Sounds unsettling, right? Well, that's the exact vibe South Park is channeling in its latest take on Disney's upcoming live-action Snow White. Now, if you've been following Disney's recent projects, you've probably noticed a trend: Disney diversity. They're swapping out races and genders in their characters like it's a game of identity bingo. In theory, it sounds great. Who wouldn't want more representation on screen? But this is where South Park steps in and asks, Disney, what's really going on here? The episode feels like a direct call-out, suggesting Disney is trying too hard to be woke, and in the process, losing what made their classic special. Let's talk specifics. Snow White. The original is a timeless story that generations have loved. But Disney decided it was time for a revamp, and they didn't hold back. They cast Rachel Zegler as the new Snow White, and let's just say, not everyone is happy about it. In fact, she's been in the spotlight for all the wrong reasons, with some even calling her a PR disaster for Disney.
Telling my husband, I'm not sure how long I can take it. Dragging my family to Los Angeles. Didn't know if I wanted to continue acting afterwards. What's the big deal?
So, what's the deal with the new Snow White? Well, for starters, they've completely removed the love story. Yep, you heard that right. No romance between Snow White and the prince. Instead, the new Snow White is all about independence and girl power. Now, don't get me wrong, empowering women is great, but let's be real, can you even call it Snow White without the dreamy fairy tale romance? It's like taking the sugar out of candy. It just doesn't taste the same. Fans aren't exactly thrilled about this change. For many, the magic of Snow White was in its love story, the fairy tale romance that made hearts flutter. But now, with this new feminist spin, it feels like a piece of their childhood has been erased. Critics are also weighing in, saying that by stripping away the romance, Disney is also taking away the charm that made Snow White such a beloved story in the first place. It's starting to feel less like a classic fairy tale and more like a forced modern rewrite.
I just mean that it's no longer 1937, and we absolutely wrote a Snow White that is
not going to be saved by the prince.
She's not going to be saved by the prince, and she's not going to be dreaming about true love. She's dreaming about becoming the leader she knows she can be.
Snow White is running for president.
I'm launching my campaign.
But this isn't just about Snow White. Disney has been on a roll with this whole woke agenda, and it has sparked a lot of debate. Every new movie seems more focused on ticking diversity boxes than actually telling a compelling story. Sure, representation is important, but at what cost? Fans are starting to wonder if Disney is so focused on staying relevant that they're forgetting what made their stories timeless in the first place. Take the casting of Rachel Zegler, for example. Disney didn't just change the face of Snow White, they changed the entire story. And Zegler? Well, let's just say her public comments haven't helped Disney's case. She's been very vocal about how this new Snow White isn't looking for true love, she's looking for power. While that's a bold modern twist, it has left many fans feeling like the heart of the original story has been ripped out. It's like Disney's entire strategy revolves around swapping out the race and gender of beloved characters to reflect today's diverse world. But here's the real question. Are they doing it to tell meaningful stories, or is it just a marketing stunt? Some believe Disney is trying to avoid backlash by making these changes, but instead, they're just stirring up even more controversy. And that's where South Park steps in. They're not just making jokes for laughs. They're making a statement. This episode isn't just about Disney. It's about the entire entertainment industry's approach to diversity. South Park is basically saying, just slapping a diversity label on something doesn't automatically make it better. If it's not done with real purpose, it falls flat.
Dream, I was walking down the school hallway. And that's when I started to notice that something's wrong. Everyone I cared about has been systematically...
The original Snow White came out in 1937, and sure, it was a product of its time. The love story focused on a prince who, let's be honest, kind of acted like a stalker.
Weird, right?
So, Disney decided to give the story a modern update. But here's the real question. Does removing the love story actually make it better? For a lot of fans, the answer is a clear no. Without the romance, it just doesn't feel like Snow White anymore. And let's not forget how Disney is reacting to all of this. Reports are saying that they are not happy about South Park's satire. In fact, they're furious. They see these jokes as a direct attack on their current business model, which is all about pushing diversity. But here's the twist. Disney is also worried that this kind of satire might actually make people start questioning their motives. Are they really committed to diversity, or is it all just for show? This South Park episode is more than just a few laughs and some angry Disney executives. It's a wake-up call for Hollywood. The show is holding up a mirror to the industry, showing how changes made to appeal to modern audiences might look good on the surface, but don't add any real depth to the stories. It's challenging Hollywood to do better, to make diversity a meaningful part of storytelling, rather than just a gimmick to get attention. So, what do you think? Is Disney's strategy working, or are they just pandering? And what about South Park? Are they just making fun of the situation, or is there a real message that Hollywood needs to hear? Let us know your thoughts in the comments below. Be sure to subscribe, and we'll see you next time.